Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Lee again about the principles of economics. Last week, we reviewed demand and supply is the first class of economics regarding price. Where is it? Price. In the economics, or the states or national economics is focused price. The price is related all of things, our real life, especially inflation, and the consumer index price, CPI, consumer price index, also GDP, all things related the price. So if we study about the economics, the first start, what is the price and how to decide the price. That's why all subject first class reviewed demand and supply, and then how to fix it, how to make it the price. That is, later we'll think about it as equilibrium pricing. So last week we reviewed about demand, just briefly remind, and then today we will study the supply, okay? The definition is, as you know, in graph, and economic principles referring to consumers' desire to purchase goods and services and the willingness to pay a price for the specific good or services. I talked to you, the key word is purchase, and another key word is price, pay a price, purchase good, needs, and I have some chance or I have ability to buy something. And continues, we review the demand curve. What is the demand curve? A graphical representation of the relationship between the price of goods and services, this quantity, and the quantity demanded for a given period of time. This definition has the key word is given period, okay? And relationship with price and quantity. Quantity means it's goods and services. So briefly, right decrease curve is demand curve, normal demand curve styling. So as you know, this is for quantities Q2 and price is a little bit down. P1, Q1 is combined. And shift in demand. Demand curve is moving to upper side. It means its quantity is increase Q2 from Q to Q dash. And then the price from P to P dash. This is demand curve. Shift demand curve. Last time we said it's subject to. This time, no change the supply curve. And then only demand curve move to right. It means is quantity increase the quantity from Q to Q dash. And then what is the change of price? Is from P to P, from P to P prime. That is, the prices increase. Because the demand, increase the demand, prices increase. Later we will summarize that. This is shifting demand and the prices move to right side means is increase the price. This is for low demand, okay? So fundamentally principle of economics states that at a higher price, consumers will demand a lower quantity of a good, because if this product is expensive, I cannot buy that. This is low demand. So in the graph, briefly explain that two scenarios of low demand. One is high prices and low prices. If the high prices, it's low quantity demanded, as you know. And low prices, oh my God, always good chance to buy it, so it means it's a high quantities demanded. Okay? And then low represents an inverse relationship between a price and quantity demanded. This is low demand. And the quantity demanded is the amount of the goods and services consumers are willing and able to buy at a specific price. That is, in the marketing area, it is, I sold some laptop computer. And then I want it. I need it. I would like to buy it. But at the time, the design and the quality and the ability, utility, everything you think about it, and then finally decide what is price. At this time, the price meaning you can pay or you are able to pay or not. So it's buy at a specific price means you can buy it or not, even if I am willing to buy it. This is every time you met this situation in the capitalism. So prime is summarize the law of demand is this one. I would say this when the price any product increase and then demand will fall. Also price decrease and then demand is increase. This is law of demand. Last week we reviewed them. And what the reason of the low demand? What is the reason? And then there are many reasons in there. Income impact. Oh, I increase my income. Also, utility maximize behavior. Utility. Last time I explained for eating apples. The large number of customers. Some cases the increase the consumers. Several uses of products. Substitute effect. These things is a reason of the low demand. And there are specific exceptions there. Not follow the law of demand. So it is giving. Last time I talked to you the price expectation. I will waiting for decrease the price. This is exceptional to the law. Also type of goods. Because it means if the pen, demand of pen increase, and then the ink, demand of increase. This is type of goods. It's related, pen and ink. Also change in taste and fashion, trend, taste. There are quickly changed last. As you know, there's a lot, nowadays it's very widely open and the real time all over the world, and then the change in taste or fashion. Also change in income. Okay, I'm increased my salary, or I got some special compensation or something. Emergency is especially in case of more flood or some very heavy rain or something. Also, May I explain something for exception to law of demand? It's a little bit deep, the principles. So as a general rule, the demand curve slopes downward, showing the inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. There's no. However, in certain special circumstances, special circumstances, the reverse may occur. Reverse, no downward, a little bit going upward. Slope. For example, a rise in price may increase in demand. These circumstances are known as exceptions to the law of imaging. Even if the quantity increase, but the price is going up, not going down, something like that. Some of the important example of exception of law of demand. First, gift and good. Gift and good. Gift and goods. This is for special kind of imperial goods, which the consumer spends a large part of his income, and the demand rises with the increase in price, and the demand falls with decrease in price. For example, it is often seen as the price of corals, cedars, it's a gift and good. It's a gift and good is the consumer spends a large part of his income. For example, our income only $3,000, but I have to buy the laptop computer for my life. It's almost 1,000. It's a large part of my income. So the demand rises, even if the prices increase. So, and then prices increase and then falls with a decrease in price. This is gift and good. So popularly we know this kind of phenomena is a gift and paradox. This is special case of exception. And second exception is status symbol goods or goods of ostentation. The exception related to certain prestige goods that use their status symbols. For example, diamond, gold, antique painting. This is for special the status symbol goods. Also, fear of shortage. Oh, I'm very fear of this shortage because it's next month or next month will be very heavy rain or some we anticipate for big one, big earthquake or something like that. This is a fear of shortage. If the consumer expects a shortage or scarcity of a particular commodity in the near future, and then they would start buying more and more commodity in the current period, even if the prices are rising. So it is the specific case, flood, earthquake, or something like that. This is fear of shortage. And ignorance. Consumers may buy more of the commodity at a higher price when they are ignorant of the prevailing price of the commodity in the market. Prevailing. I don't need that. Is it increase or not? It doesn't matter. I buy it. Ignore it. Fashion-related goods. I said this fashion or taste trend is changing and then it's not followed the law of demand. Necessity of life. This is basic necessity. For example, for rice, some kind of food, something, diaper, also milk, something. Another exception occurs in the use of some such commodity, wheat, rice, salt, medicine, etc. These things is necessity of life. Change in the weather of food or cake is related for the fear of shortage. These things is exception of demand curve. And today we will study the supply. What's the meaning supply? The definitions follow that the pictures. The total amount of specific goods or services that is available to consumer. This is supply. So the keyword is guess, forecast. So total amount of specific goods or services available to consumers. Who decide that? Consumers. And then the suppliers decide the supply amount. This is supply. So the supply curve is something like that. There's no downward is demand and going up. Upright. So, supply curve is a graphic representative of the correlation between the cost of goods and services and the quantity supplies for given period, specific given period. So it's a supply curve is going up time. And the same of the law of demand, something like this. A supply is that the price increase, quantity supplies increase. Price increase, quantity increase. Price fall down, quantity supplies falls. Same thing. This is supply curve. And shift. A shift in supply. At this time, demand is fixing, no change. And move to supply curve from red color to purple color. It means the quantity changes from Q to Q dash. And then price change it from P to P prime. It means the price is changed from here to here. This is shift in supply curve. As same in demand, the law of supply. What's the meaning? In microeconomic laws, why the microeconomic? Because in the domestic, so demand and supply is only we focus the microeconomic area. The microeconomic law that is states that all other factors being equal, it means no change, fix it. Last time I said it, subject to. As the price of goods or services increase, the quantity of goods and services as suppliers offer will increase and vice versa. It means I want to buy more.
I earn money more because its prices increase. So I would like to sell more. Who? From who? From or by the supplier. This is a supplier's product over increased. This is the reason. That is the law of supplies. What the reason for the law of supplies? The law. The law of supply is the result of the law of increasing cost. Result. Finally, prices increase, and then the suppliers increase the goods and services. So the keyword is result, final result of the law of increasing cost. As the quantity of goods produced rises, the marginal opportunity cost rise also. Sellers will only produce and sell an additional unit of the goods if the price rises above the marginal opportunity cost of producing the additional unit. Last time I talked to you in the economics, think about the main keyword is three things. One thing is the efficiency result, and opportunity cost, and marginal. So marginalism is, last time I talked to you, marginal concept. How can I explain this one? Marginal concept, this one. Delta x increase and delta y. But some period is shocking. This time is some price. For example, x-axis means time. Y-axis price. And some product price is increased that goes to time. And at this time, increase delta x over delta y. But some point, past some point, and then the same delta x, but delta y is different. And the second one is delta x over delta y. But delta y is better than delta y prime. Then prime. Right, prime. Delta x equals delta x prime. It means given time is same. But delta y prime is exactly different. What's different? Delta y prime is better than delta y. So this is. It means its prices increase sharply by graph. This is marginal concept, even if the same period. But the output delta y compared delta y prime is different. This is marginal concept. So reason of law of supply is also introduce the marginal concept. So sellers will only produce and sell the additional unit of the goods. If the price rises above the marginal unit opportunity cost, it means if the marginal unit is same, means delta y prime is same. If. And then producing the additional unit, it means is I first, okay, 10 unit produce, but some price $100, but 2 units exactly times 200. But marginal concept is different. Marginal concept is $180. Decrease $20. This is marginal concept. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So marginal concept, and then the suppliers increase or added more units, more product, because it's even if this thing is $1 per unit. But if we increase $20 and $100 is 20 unit per $800, it is 9 cents per unit. So marginal concept $1.90. So this marginal concept is decreasing. That's why the suppliers increase the product units. This is marginal concept. Okay. The reason of the low supplies is the marginal concept is adapted there. So the also same. Okay, wait. Before that, the exception. The important point about the law of supplies, a little bit different concept of important things. The law of supply states the positive relationship, positive, includes the marginal concept. Also, earn money. I would like to earn more money then, because the prices increase. So between the price and quantity, supply of commodity, after assuming the other factors remain constant. The other factors remain constant means is fixing. For example, demand curve is fixing. As the law of supplies indicates the direction of the change in quantity supplied over commodity and not the magnitude of the change. It is considered as a quantitative statement. Quantitative statement. So, in the economic theory, if we mention that the economic theory is quantitative, briefly with quantity versus quality. Quantity, quality. Many things about the quantity. So quality is another area. It's good shape or good quality is quantity, quality. But most economic theories adapted the quality, quantity, number, how much, how long, quantity can say. So, as the law of supply includes the direction of, we have to consider it as a quantitative statement. Also, the law of supply does not establish any proportional relationship between the change in price and the respect change in quantity supplies of the commodity. It means it's a proportional relationship. not establishing proportionalities because we have to think about how marginal of price fluctuation and how much the price increase. All thing is proportional relationship. So the law of supply does not meaning in proportional relationship. Okay. Also, the law of supply is one-sided. It means what the reason the law explains only the effect of change in price on supply. So not the effect of change in supply on price on commodity. So only it change for price. That's why one side. Not affected the supply. Only follow the price. This is a specified area of a specific or important point of the law of supply. Okay? Okay, let's move to next. Here we go. This is exception of the law of supply. That's the same, the exception of the law of demand. And the supply part. Future expectation is same in law of dimension. Future expectation, oh, this price, this commodity, this product is really increased. And then supply is increased or decreased, something. So future expectation means is now is this laptop computer is $1,000, but its future expectation is $1,200,000. Already anticipate that because it depends on some chips. Chip prices increase, and then the laptop computer is increased, that something like that. It is a super expectation. At this time, the suppliers decrease the products. Backward countries, backward countries, or rare articles, or perishable goods, agricultural goods. These things is exception of the supplies, law of supplies. So, if the agricultural goods is especially area, because it's more hobbyist, and then it's increased the quantity and the price is also not decreased. This is concern about the government law or something. It's not follow the market price. So demand curve, demand and supply, we combine that the law of supply and demand. At that time, we can decide the price. Final, I talked the first time, the price. So what is the law of supply and demand? This is a theory that explains the interaction between the sellers of resources and buyers for that resources. Seller and buyers relationship, resources. Between sellers and buyers, interactions. How can we explain? This is law of supply and demand. So the law of supply and demand compares suppliers' preferences, for example, supply, with the consumer preference, that is demanding, or as being equal. All condition is equal, supply rises while demand decline as the price increase. Level of supply and demand for varying price can be plotted on the graphic as curves, and the intersection of the curves marks the equilibrium. This is, we say, the equilibrium. Or market clearing price, at which demand equals supplies and represent the process of price discovery in the market price. So we increase, in-depth the price concept. So before that time, we understand the law of supply and demand. If price increase, supply increase, correct? But the prices increase, and then I would like to buy. I want to buy later or some give up. Demand is decrease. If price decrease, supply also decrease. But the demand is increased. This is law of supply and demand simplified pictures. So I say this is equilibrium. First, equilibrium is more easy to understand. This side. Demand, supply, meet one point, and then this point we say the price. At this time, the market quantity is Q. At this time, the price is P prime. This point we say equilibrium. The equilibrium is very similar word is balance. Balance. So some Native Americans is very difficult to understand the equilibrium. Equilibrium is to balance. Okay. The definition is that a state in which the supply and demand for given good or services are in balance. This is for equilibrium. Balance, equilibrium. Equilibrium is very important concept in the economics. This is demand curve and supply is mid one point. Equilibrium is a state the price becomes stable when market supply and demand balance. Generally, oversupply of goods and services causes price go down, which result in higher demand, while an undersupply or shortage causes price to go up, resulting in the less demand. The balance effect of supply and demand results in the state of equilibrium. So, a market is said to have reached equilibrium price. The supply of goods matches demand. So, the market is revealed or represents the reached equilibrium, meaning is the equilibrium price, the supply of goods matches the demand. Also, market in equilibrium demonstrates three characteristics. First, the behavior of agents is consistent. Consistent means it's fixing. How long? Nobody knows. There are no incentive good for agents to change behavior. No incentive means it's fix it to some designated equilibrium. That's why no change, no incentive. Also, the last character is a dynamic process governs equilibrium outcomes. So, dynamic process governs equilibrium outputs. Dynamic process meaning is moving to supply or going down, going up, or demand going up, going down. Is dynamic process is governed by equilibrium outcomes. Also, there are several types of equilibrium used in economics. The equilibrium is several types. Also, disequilibrium is the opposite of equilibrium. And it is characterized by changes in conditions that affect market equilibrium. So a little bit difficult and concepting. So this equilibrium, the unbalance, is the opposite of equilibrium. Yes, this equilibrium. In reality, markets are never in perfect equilibrium. This equilibrium is only theoretical in the lab. Never in perfect equilibrium in the markets. Although prices do tend toward it, it means the equilibrium is only theory, not real state. So the equilibrium price is when the supply of a good and matches demand, just matches, but is not perfect. So economists find the price tends to fluctuate around the equilibrium levels. If price rises too high, market forces will incentive sellers to come in and produce more. It's exactly. So very fluctuate. If the price too low, the additional buyers will bid up the price, bid up, going down. Bid up. Also, the activity keep the equilibrium level in relative balance over time. At this time, very important concept is time. So this is another explained chart for equilibrium. So the equilibrium is center price. Center picture is demand and supply. This point is equilibrium. But it's over if they are here area. It means quantity suppliers is more supply. Quantity demanded is more there. And then this is area. This area we say is surplus. In the capitalism and the communist, I say this is never in perfect equilibrium. That's why every time in the quantity supplies increase or more quantity demanded fluctuated. So every case is different, moving, all this. So if we say concern about the equilibrium, there are two different situations. One is surplus, the other one is shortage. Shortage meaning is quantity supply better, more than quantity demand. This is shortage in the market. But the left side, if the quantity supplies better than quantity demanded, and then in the market, lots of products in there. That is surplus. Some period, some time passed and is surplus. It means it's fluctuation. The equilibrium price is very quickly moved. And sometimes shortage, sometimes surplus. One thing. In the capitalism and the communists think about it. The investors want to surplus. Shortage is surplus. Who owns the surplus? This is another concept or approach in the between capitalism and the communist thing. Who owns that? The labor, the workers, or capital. This is for basic starting point of communist and the capitalist. This surplus. The other pictures is supply and demand curve, and meet them one point we say equilibrium, or exactly we say the market equilibrium. the market equilibrium is fluctuating, as I said. And also the upper side, we say supplies. And the below side of market equilibrium, we say shortage. Shortage means is there are many buyers, but small supplies. Surplus is short buyer, but many supplies. This is market equilibrium. Surplus, market equilibrium, surplus, shortage, that's it. This is another picture that is between demand and supplies related equilibrium point or market equilibrium. So upper side is excess supply when price is more than P prime. Below part is excess demand when price is less than P point. Shortage, supply, surplus, shortage. This is equilibrium. But is the fluctuated? It is only theoretical, we say that. So many cases we can explain this one. Oops. This one, disequilibrium. What's the meaning disequilibrium? Quantity D and the quantity S is exactly different. Oops. This is disequilibrium. So as I said, the upper side we say surplus, and the below part, below the equilibrium is shortage area. But at this time, surplus time is QS and QT at the specific point, specific P. This is for disequilibrium, pointy here, something like that, here. So many areas shortage or surplus. This is equilibrium, disequilibrium. So fluctuation means is quickly response in the market equilibrium, and then they are very quickly moving demand and supply, and then the market equilibrium is fluctuating. This is follow the disequilibrium. Disequilibrium occurs when the market price is not at equilibrium. It means is at this time market equilibrium. But point is that sometimes in here, because the curve is moved there. That's why the market equilibrium is moving there. This one is changed. So reading the either a shortage or surplus, going up or going down or something. So this is disequilibrium image. What is the difference between equilibrium versus disequilibrium? When systems are in equilibrium with their surroundings, their conditions are the same as the surroundings and they stay that way. It means it's theoretical condition. And when the system are in disequilibrium with their surrounding, their conditions are not the same as the surroundings because it's fluctuating. Systems are at disequilibriums tend to change until they reach equilibrium with their surroundings. It means is if we in here shortage and then the suppliers increase the products and then equilibrium is moving. Or supplies and then the demand is increased or suppliers is decrease the products and then move to here. That is the fluctuation relationship. This is for equilibrium versus disequilibrium. Also, living things are in control disequilibriums with their environment. They are not at the same conditions as the environment and do not tend to change to these conditions. It means the demand, more supply, more equilibrium, and then a price. This is only theoretical conditions, theoretical environment. What's the reason? The reason is basically we say the economic condition is very fluctuated. But last week I said we cannot explain everything at the same time. So any other condition is not changed or fix it. And then we state the theory. That's why this equilibrium and this equilibrium is changed a lot, fluctuated by some period. This is the relationship between equilibrium versus disequilibrium, okay? So market is very fluctuated, simply that. And at this time, some economists, something like Adam Smith, you heard a lot, believe the free market. Did you remember that? The free market from Adam Smith. At this time, we can distinguish the parties, Republican and Democrat. So free market is related to the Republican part. It means the government no concern about the market price. Automatically they fix it, the market price. But as you know, in the capitalism, the rich get the richer. Poor become poor. This is very big disadvantage of the capitalism. So most policy of strategic in democratic means government concern a lot of the market price. So there are many regulations and some acts by law from Democratic Party. But the Republican Party, basically they don't want to engage the market price. Because why? Free market, invisible hand or something. So what's the meaning of the free market? This one. The economic system based on supply and demand with a little or no government control. No government control, invisible hands as a free market. Who decides that the price? Oh, it's market. So this free market is tend toward equilibrium. So this is from Adam Smith's very long-term history. This is special conditions, free market. And what's that? What is next? So the free market is an economic system based on the supply and demand, with a little or no government control. This is free marketing definition. One of the central principles of the free market is the concept of voluntary exchange, which means it's defined as any transaction in which two parties freely trade goods or services. Just free market is theoretically there are two concerned parties, and then they change their products freely. Trade, sell, or buy. And then we say this is free market. So the free market are characterized by a spontaneous means the same. Sanely decentralized order or arrangement through which individuals make economic decisions. We have many kind of situation by decision making. Buy or not, produce or not, or something. This is the free market. So the free market is one the law of supply and demand provides a sole basis for the economic system without government interventions. Government no concerned. Also, the free market economies actually exist. All markets are in some ways constrained. That's why all economists lots of work to do to research. So sometimes, did you heard that laissez-faire, the term free markets is sometimes used as a synonym for laissez-faire capitalism. Laissez-faire capitalism means it doesn't matter. I don't care. The market is going up, going down, or make more product. Laissez-faire. Freely, let them go. This is laissez-faire. Economic philosophy developed in the 18th century. This is French. It means it opposes any government intervention in business affairs. It's let them go. And then don't touch or mention and concern markets. This is laissez-faire. Sometimes very similar free market. So I want like say one more thing in the laissez-faire and the free market. At this time, the fluctuation. It means it's going sometimes any index fluctuation. Because there are many kind of factors affecting the index, or my price, or my equilibrium. Any kind of final objective is fluctuation. Depends on the time. So laissez-faire or free market is also include this area. So in the economists, lots of research in this area. So that's why some economists said here, sorry, the economic equilibrium. So economic equilibrium, the condition or state in which economic forces are balanced. It means some demand and curve or other conditions affected. Force. And then the condition or states is equilibrium. At these series of activity, we say economic equilibrium, okay? Basically, this is a quantity related of quantity and price. We decide the equilibrium, and then the one point is market price. And say this consumer supplies, product surplus. So in equilibrium, we say the surplus, shortage. But why this left area? We cover this price and over this price, it's consumer surplus. This market price below part is producer's surplus. It means the supply is more products in market.
This consumer surplus is I want to buy more. This point. This is different. So the economic equilibrium, we say these things. Okay. And the other one is Keynesian economics. Keynesian economics is macroeconomic theory. Keynesian economics is between the country. So macroeconomic theory of total spending in the economy and its effect on output, employment, and inflation. This is Keynesian economics. Some other said. Nowadays in the United States, very chaos system, chaos. Now, as you know, chaos. Chaos meaning is very difficult and confusing. So some economists or reporters says the chaos of American or world economic situation because it's a tariff from Donald Trump. At this time, I would say Republican and Democrat in the United States, we have two parties represented in the democracy, Republican and Democrat. So, but it's Donald Trump charged the tariff all over the world. For example, in the Europe, 15%. Oh, sorry. 15%. Regularly 15%. And some, okay, South Korea, 15%. In Japan, 15% alpha. Because now it's very talking about lots of that. The representative in the Japan is 50%, but it's exactly different. Now it's China. It's still going. And how about the Vietnam? Vietnam is, I know, this is 49%. It's fixed. Mexico is 25%. It's charged for each other. Canada, not yet, or 29% or something. There are lots of different ratio. What is the reason this one? From Trump. So nowadays, the all economic theory is confusing them. It's chaos. So Trumpism, did you know that Trumpism? This new word, Trumpism. Not to follow the Republican parties, also not to follow the Democratic policy. This is depends on the Trump mind. You know the couplings. Can you check it the word couplings? Couplings very fluctuated mind. Oh, I see that. Oh, she's good. Oh, okay, I agree with that. Can you find it in the dictionary? Couplings. It means it's Trump mind. Depends on the Trump mind. So they are making some new word, Trumpism, in the economics. Not to follow the Republican, not to follow the Democrat. Basically, Republican Party is not engaged the market. So it's free market. Sometimes a laissez-faire. But in the Democratic is focused share. Democratic policy share. This is growth, I say.
This is basic concept of two parties. Republican is growth, as I said the last time, and then the econs is the growth in the Republican, and then share and growth, share, growth, share, growth, share. This is for theoretically very powerful authority in the world, okay? But in the world, they cannot follow, any countries cannot follow this one. But traditionally, the Republican and Democratic is change the authority, and then growth, share, growth, share, growth, share. So that's why the Republican is very friendly in the enterprise. But Democratic is give them or some share that, so very friendly workers. Nowadays, why the Trump is elected by workers? Basically, Republican is not friendly with the workers. So the Trumpism is very unique. Sometimes Republican style, sometimes it's Democrat style. So now he is control the tariff in the world, and then this is positive concept in the future or negative concept in the future. My personal concept is in tariff is very negative concept in the world economics, because Trump is 2025, last time I said 2026, 2027, 2028, and then finish this period. Now in here, half year. So rain duck, did you know that? Did you heard that the rain duck? Rain duck is last year. It's rain duck. So at this time, the Donald Trump power is very weak, almost half year from here, and it means 1.5 year very serious rain. So nowadays we keep this here. So 2025 third and fourth quarter, and 2026 1, 2, 3, 4 quarter, and 2027 first and second quarter. That's it. And any other after that is render. So my personal idea also on business, I stayed 2020 until 2020 second quarter. Okay, and then I'm waiting for not move, no invest, no new business, only keep the balance. And then Donald Trump reigned from middle of 2027, and 2028 is very argued that the Republican or more Democrats. Now you heard that the news, who is next Democratic president, nominate the president? Nobody said that. Because why? Trump is very chaos situation nowadays in the world. That's why. Okay. Now there is very difficult time there. Basically, I guess after Trump, maybe Democratic will be elected in the president, hopefully. But now it's not representative nominators, these things. But it's after 1.5 years later, maybe they are leaders of, they are represent some leader of the Democratic. So Keynesian economics is a very macroeconomic theory of total spending in the economy. It's related to macroeconomy, between the country. Nowadays, it's not followed the economic theory, only Trump style. So this is for Keynesian economics. And I would like to introduce the type of equilibrium. But this is for something difficult area. Nash equilibrium, game theory, Nash equilibrium, and a little bit deep and wide theory. So briefly, I introduced that. Almost done today class. Just you heard a lot of game theory. Game theory is not bachelor and master level. Game theory is a little bit doctorate level concept, okay? Just briefly I exception this. The theoretical framework for conceiving social situation among competition players. This is game theory. For example, rock, paper, scissors. You know the rock, paper, scissors? So, this is competition, play. The rock, paper, scissors. Just simply I say this game theory. But it's very difficult theory. Rock, paper, scissors. Okay, rock, paper, scissors. The two people, player one, player two. Okay? And I say we're between you and me, rock, paper, scissors game. And I said to you, okay, I will play rock. Okay, I say that. Okay, I'll do it the rock. Okay, I rock. Rock. And then I said rock. Even if this is lie or fact, I don't know. Nobody knows it. Only I know me. I know me. And you, this is said play one. And play two is rock. Is paper. Paper means is I realized me. You, if you realize, oh, Dr. is not followed, not liar. Okay, Dr. says the rock, and then you, oh, Dr. is normally he's very honest guy, and then he is paper, correct? But paper and perfect meaning. And why I said to I play rock? It means she said, she think about, she usually trust me or not, correct? I know that she trusts me. And then she will play the paper. So I changed the scissors, correct? And then because I will win. So this case, lots of the case. So, who is more probability to win? I say to I will play rock. This is more higher percentage of the win, okay? So, if we don't mention anything, and then rock, paper, scissors is 50-50, correct? But I said I will rock. And then who is more portion of to win? 65, 63, something like that. Okay, I am 63% to win. She will win a percentage of 45 or 43% only, because I say first strategy. Okay, this is some kind of game theory. That's why nowadays. Today only news in the market, the market in the what's that? The phone. I have this phone. It's Apple phone. In the Korean is Galaxy phone or something. We have two kinds of Galaxy or some iPhone. So nowadays is folder phone, folder. So I'm not sure, but now folder phone is market share is 1.5, 1.6% only nowadays. But now is folder phone is from the Galaxy, from Samsung, is very good anticipate for market share. So the iPhone is only focused very thin style. This is strategy of company. But in the China is for folder phone only 2 times folder phone, 2 times folder phone. So today news in the fiber from China is 3 screens, so 2 folder phone from the fire from China. Now they focus this strategy and research and develop. Now it's Samsung style, only 1 folder style, and they are test for 500,000 times folder, and then this is okay. This is Galaxy style and the Chinese fiber style, fiber style. But iPhone is thin. But how do we make it thin? Why they announce this strategy? Because if we decide this strategy in the market, this is effective a lot. So 2 folder phone, 1 folder phone, but the iPhone is only thin style. This is strategy in the market. This is adapted in the game theory. That's why it's very difficult. Why the Samsung is announced 2 folder phone, and the fiber is 2 folder phone. So it means is I will play lot. This one, same thing. Okay. So I say first strategy in the market, and then the opposite company is responsible. It means I'm more priority to win proportions. Okay. This is game theory. But it's interesting and very difficult for something. Anyway, very simply, I will open my future strategy to opposite, and then I check it the opposite company strategy, and then I check it. I respond to that. So I have more probability to win. This is game theory. At that time, this Nash equilibrium is a little bit more difficult. Scenario in game theory in which no player in a non-corporate game has anything to gain by changing only their strategy. It's Nash equilibrium. This Nash equilibrium is already different, very specific area in game theory. The pictures shows that the left guys is get the pear, but think about the pear. But right women's keep the apples, but think about the only apples. So this is Nash equilibrium. The scenario is to no player, but equilibrium is reached there. This is Nash equilibrium, but a little bit difficult. But anyway, I would like to introduce the equilibrium. This is a mechanism, the price mechanism. What is the price mechanism? The adjustment of prices in response to change in market condition. I say this market equilibrium is condition is fluctuation, and then the mechanism is operated the price. This is price mechanism. So in the economics, price mechanism is simply, I say this, fluctuate in the market conditions, and then finally they reach market equilibrium. So the price mechanism is some kind have the functions. It means is the function meaning is the price is very changeable there. Is moving demand, supply, here. Fluctuation. This is mechanism changed. Supply chain, demand chain, and the condition change, circumstance change, and then this point is moved here. Lots of conditions there. Eh? This is price mechanism, we say. The price mechanism depends on the elasticity, the measure of the variable's sensitivity. It means it's a lot of factors moving that what is the variable is very sensitively or not. This is elasticity. Those very variable is very sensitive to change that. Another variable most commonly referring to the demand as affected by other factors. So this side, other factors put it there, and then this consumer is moving. This is elasticity. Just read it there. And elasticity, another picture is this one. Measure how changes one variable impacts another. Some inflation is increased, and then other factors how to exchange that. Number one is price elasticity of demand. And number two is price elasticity of supply. Cross elasticity of supply and demand. Income elasticity of demand. Finally, some variables impact other variables. This is elasticity, okay? In the demands, we have to price elasticity of demand. The measurement of the change in demand for the goods or services in relation to change in its price. Because its demand change meaning is increased demand or decreased demand, and then the change is price. This is price elasticity of demand, okay? So a little bit, this is a master level, but deeply economic major guys need it, elastic demand and supply demand. Eh? So how do we calculate that? This type. This is real. So price elasticity of demand, price elasticity of supply equation. How to change that variables? These things is for elasticity of supply and demand. I'm sorry, a little bit quickly to introduce the a little bit deep concept of demand and supply. Okay, just you heard that. Oh, I remember that word. That's it. I won't say to more deep things. Okay, this is all thing today class, and any question? Okay. Okay, thanks for coming, and see you next week. Okay, thank you.